the Acer curved monitor CB2 series. Excuse me while I do this a little bit camera shy, but this monitor is cool. If you look at it, you've got 3440 by 1440 ultrawide, curved. I think it's 1900R, so not super curved. IPS panel. 90-watt charging. I mean, you only really find this in really high-end monitors like the LG Ultrawide, the Dell Ultra Sharps. I mean, you don't find a lot of 90-watt charging on sub $500 monitors. This is the CB342CUR, which, again, I think the CB2 series is supposed to be more business focused. You know, definitely not gaming focused. The refresh rate goes up to, you can overclock it to 75, and that's about it. So I just got this delivered from UPS. I've got all this, I've got this Vivo monitor holder ready to go. Totally not assembled yet, but as soon as I unpack this monitor holder, the UPS guy dropped this off. Box is in really great condition for a monitor that I think is about at least 1 to 2 years old. I don't even know when the manufacture date is. So let's take a look at this. Use a pair of Fiskar scissors. Color calibration testing report. Pretty interesting. Okay, got HDMI cable. Weird, there's like a pamphlet in here with like 4 screws. USB-C cable, all right. Ooh, display port to display port. I am using a MacBook Pro 2016 M1, so it does not have display port. Power cable. There's no brick, so that's nice. What else? And then we have, I don't know what this is, like USB-B or something like that to USB-A. Maybe this has to do with like the KVM stuff that it says it's built in. By the way, this thing has a KVM switch. I don't plan on using it, but I know plenty of people use it. Oh, my mistake. There is a charging brick. That, I guess, is not unexpected, but it's pretty thin. I'm going to try to do some cable management too and try to stick this up on my desk somewhere. Okay, so that's all of that. How do we want to do this without breaking it? Let's see. Oh, I see that the some of the styrofoam didn't hold up. That's kind of a disappointment. Potential concern. This is not very heavy. It said 15 pounds. I'm gonna one-hand this thing. Got shocked just now. Not bad. Not bad at all. Totally holding it upside down and one-handing it, but there we go. And the bezel is super thin. People online were complaining about the bezel on the regular CB2. This is nice. Wow. How did this fly under the radar? How did it do that? Okay, let's take a pause. All right, so I finished setting up the monitor. It looks great. Um, as you can see, I have a few things set up here. For now, I'm setting up the windows in thirds. I've got my um, editor, I've got YouTube browser up, and I've got a terminal window. It's connected to my MacBook using one cable, and then there's power going all the way behind here, and that's it. That's the whole setup. It's nice and clean. If we kind of look at what I've got going on here, I bought the Vivo monitor stand. Pretty good cable management. I mean, it's not perfect, but you can see I don't have any of the cables dangling below the monitor. And really, there's just the USB-C cable right there connected to the monitor. And then you have the power, which is this guy, going all the way to the power outlet. And that's it. I just want to kind of go through the specs one more time. Because again, for $350, really solid. QHD, again, I'm not a gamer, so this AMD Freesync stuff, the curve, which it's like a 1080 or 1900 or 1800R IPS monitor, so it's not a VA, HDR, and again, the 90-watt charging. So the M1 MacBook uses a 96-watt charger, so this 90-watt output from this monitor is going to be solid. I mean, I don't work heavy in graphics or anything like that, so I don't think I'll ever get to a place where the battery is draining faster than this connection can charge. Let's see, what else? Word of warning, make sure you use the USB-C cable that is included with the monitor. I used just a regular old charging USB-C cable, and that definitely did not work. So I need to get educated about USB-C cables for sure. What else? So this is a QHD 3440 by 1440 monitor, and why that's important also is that means that based on the size of this monitor is going to be pretty close to 110 ppi. I ended up going down a pretty deep rabbit hole about monitors for Apple devices. Long story short, the monitor industry kind of went down its own path. Apple decided to go down its own path. Apple decided to go with 5K monitors, whereas monitor manufacturers decided to kind of go along with what televisions are doing. Televisions are doing 4K. They're doing 16:9. And so you end up running into some of these upscaling issues with some of these 4K monitors. I personally wanted an ultrawide for a couple of reasons. I like the idea of kind of not having that sort of boundary between two monitors. And also just a simple, clean setup. I didn't really want, two 27-inchers plugged into the MacBook and running power cables all over the place. So I thought this was perfect. The curve is really, honestly, when you sit in front of it, it's pretty subtle. Um, but when you stand on top, you know, it's like, yeah, that is definitely a curved monitor. I think for someone that's new to curved monitors, this is a pretty perfect curvature. Um, I also think that when we look, we're not going to get Retina quality um, rendering of fonts and things like that, but you know, it's really not too bad. Let me see if I can really get in there, but you know, I'm sitting just about arm's length away. Um, you know, so if I kind of swivel in my chair, that curve really works out. You know, what else? There, so you have the uh, USB-C charging. You've got um, the resolution of that sort of 2K for the ultra wide that sets things to 110 ppi right on the dot, which so when we're looking at native resolution, um, you know, we've got this set to the native resolution. So we're not doing any scaling whatsoever. So I think when you talk about 4K monitors, you'll find that 4K monitors, as soon as you plug it in and you take a look at the display, it scales up and then it scales all the way down to 25% to 1080p. So I was using a 15-inch portable monitor for a long time um, that was doing 1080p, and it just seemed like total injustice to just buy a 27-inch monitor and you end up with the same sort of size of the windows and text and elements from a 1080p monitor. So I think this 1440 really works out. You know, I don't have the best vision. Again, sitting arm's length away, I'm able to kind of read and parse through code writing. Um, you know, a lot of sites look great. Video looks great. Um, you know, the terminal window, you know, probably the most boring thing you can look at, but you know, I did have to increase the font size of the terminal window by a little bit. Um, yeah, what else? I mean, if we go through some of these settings, um, you know, I have the brightness set to 70. I don't plan on setting it any higher. You have to set the input to DP Alt, which will allow you to, again, use that USB-C cable as a power supply and to uh, get a video feed over to this monitor. I won't go into too much of the settings. The only things I changed, and these, by the way, these buttons back here, I mean, these are really easy to use, I gotta say. You've got your power up top, you've got 3 buttons, which are like some quick keys, and then you've got this sort of like nub that goes up, down, left, right, and it could punch, and you could press in. So yeah, let's hit press for menu, and let's see. I did set the color to sRGB. Seemed like out of all of them, that seemed like pretty good color accuracy and things like that. I set the brightness up a tad bit. I would kind of, you know, like to find ways to kind of set color settings and things like that. But other than that, I didn't do much else. I did play around with some of these PIP, PBP modes. I played around with it earlier, but the way it works, I believe, is that you have to set a second source from the MacBook to the monitor. So you would plug in via USB-C, and you would plug in via HDMI. So this monitor also supports that sort of like picture-in-picture, picture-by-picture feature. I don't think that's something I'm going to try. Again, I'm trying to reduce the number of cables that I'm using. Plus, I plan on downloading like a Windows management tool to my MacBook and try to see if I can like sort of like snap some of these to a certain grid and things like that. But this monitor, $350 on Amazon, before tax, was shipped in 3 days. And if you look on Amazon, you are not gonna find a lot of ultrawide monitors with these stats. Trust me, I've looked. You know, there were some competitors. There was a Dell Ultrawide, which New York Times Wirecutter had recommended. I was looking into that. That was about $100 more expensive. And I think the charge output was only 60 watt on that. So I was a little concerned that that wasn't going to keep up with the charge, keep up with the MacBook. There were some LG Ultrawides, but those were, you know, $500 plus. So far so good. I hadn't noticed any dead pixels or any side effects. I know people are always talking about blooming and things like that. I don't really notice that. I usually work in a pretty bright room. Again, IPS panel, so you're getting good color accuracy. You're not getting any sort of like weird side effects. Scrolling is really smooth, even at 60 hertz. I don't think I plan on overclocking to 75 hertz. It seems like such a marginal addition that doesn't seem worthwhile. Yeah, scrolling is fine. I don't think it's as smooth as say a 120 hertz or 144 hertz monitor, but again, don't plan on gaming on this at all. Just mainly for productivity, coding, terminal use, emails, Slack, and this is just kind of a perfect fit. I didn't see any reviews for this monitor at all. There was one helpful review on Amazon. There were no reviews on the internet for this. There were no reviews on Reddit for this. There was one YouTuber who reviewed the 38-inch version of this monitor, but he didn't really go into detail on some of the real technical stuff that I was looking after, like the power delivery, you know, the you know, the type of panel and things like that. So, well, I hope that helps people out that are looking for a monitor, especially on Amazon. I'll leave some links in the description for everyone to take a look at. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to leave something in the comments and I'll be as helpful as I can. Thanks a lot.